collective bullshit. So he kidnaps the kids, and the Asgardians are like, oh no, we have to get the kids back. But we can't fight him without an army. So let's go get an army. Where from? Omnipotent City. So they go to Omnipotent City, which is this planetoid way in the way out. And it's this hidden city where gods of every pantheon just hang out, including Zeus and Quetzalcoatl and Bao, the god of dumplings. Thanks for that joke. I mean, it made me chortle. I'm not gonna lie, it did make me chortle. I was like, oh, he's cute. But aside from that, I was just like, why? Is that really a thing? Or is that just like, is there actual folklore in the world where there's a god of dumplings? Are y'all just... Also, it's gods of every people, because there's a god from Korg's planet. Like, now they're actual gods. This city is... the writers are de facto saying, oh yeah, everybody's gods now. The Egyptian gods are real. The Mayan gods were real. The Japanese gods, the Greek gods, all of them are real. They're not aliens, they're actual gods. I'm not okay with that. Not at all. Also, it's a super missed opportunity. Super missed opportunity. So anyway, they go there to interrupt whatever is going on there, ask for help from Zeus, and ask him and his Thunderbolt, his number one weapon, the Thunderbolt, to join in. He says no. They fight. They steal the Thunderbolt, and Thor kills Zeus with it. Well, he seemingly kills him with it. He throws the Thunderbolt through Zeus. And then steals the Thunderbolt and goes off on his merry way. And they go off on their way. Oh, also in that fight, in that scene, Zeus throws his Thunderbolt and hits Korg with it, and he just disintegrates. And I was like, oh, they killed Korg. Finally. And some steaks. Yay. Finally some danger. But then Korg starts talking as just a face. He exists as just a face, and later says, oh, it seems that we can live, and our hearts and our brains are in our lips. So we can live as just a face. Thanks. So he's useless. They go to the Shadowland or wherever it is that Korg is, or that Gore is. They're constantly talking to the kids through astral projection or something, and just sort of wasting time. And they eventually go fight him. Gore beats them, or takes Valkyrie and Jane out. And then Jane, Thor goes to save the kids. He rescues them, so to speak, or, frees them, but they can't really go back home because Gore has his hammer, which is. Oh, Gore's after Eternity. Eternity, they've made into like this secret wishing spot at the center of the universe or something like that. Let me explain to you what Eternity is. Eternity is a character in Marvel Comics that is the embodiment of the will of the universe. He is the universe. So making him just like a wishing space is really weak. And that's basically the cosmic cube. Like, whoever touches it first gets a wish. Dragon Balls. So they fight. Gore gets there. Jane, like, uses up the rest of her power and dies because the more she uses her powers as Thor, the more her cancer affects her. Because it, like, wipes out all the chemotherapy and drugs and everything that she's been going through because of, like, God body. So then Thor gives him this speech about, like, choosing love over anger and revenge, and implores Gore to choose love and bring his daughter back to life. But Gore's going to die, so Gore wishes for because what he was going to do, he was going to go to Eternity and wish that all the gods were dead. But instead, he wishes for his daughter to come back to life, which is weird. It's weird because his motivation is so understandable, but, like, weak. Like, what should have happened is that whole scene with him meeting the guy. Okay, here's how I see the movie should have happened. Gore and his daughter go through that whole desert thing. He prays and prays and everything, just the same as before. And his daughter dies on the way to the oasis. They see the oasis, but she can't hold on long enough. So he gets the oasis by himself, sad and distraught and broken because his daughter died. But there, in the oasis, he meets the guy that he was praying to, the deity that he prays to. He sees him there, and he's still a douche. He's still he's still the worst. But he has with him the Necro Sword, and he's just super braggadocious, sort of like Thor from the first movie. He's super braggadocious, and Gore's like, why didn't you help us? Why didn't you save us? I prayed to you so much, and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, you believed in that? I'm sorry. Like, I know you worship me and everything, but I can't hear your prayers. I can't hear your prayers. I don't, like, that's just stuff that your people made up about me a long time ago. Like, yeah, I lived way back when, and you saved you guys from whatever, but that, I don't care about that. I don't care about you. Why are you waiting around for me to save you? Why didn't you save your daughter? And basically Gore finds out that the guy that he was praying to, the god that he was praying to, is just a guy. And he's wasted his time. He's wasted his time. He wasted his life and his devotion, and there's nothing waiting for his daughter. And that angers him to the point to where he steals the guy's sword and kills him with it. But that sword, like Mjolnir, is an enchanted weapon. It's the Necro sword. It gains powers from like shadows and blood and vengeance or something like that. And from that, from fighting, from killing that guy, Gorg vows to never let someone else fall for that again. And he's like, if he's not real, or he's just a guy, then other gods, or other people that are claiming to be gods, are real. And they're just dudes too. And people need to be woken up to this. People need to know that gods aren't real. And gods bleed and gods die. And everyone's gonna feel my pain. Like he just takes it out on everybody, because it's like everyone's, they're, you know, capricious little worthless douche nozzles, just like that guy. So then he goes on this whole galactic adventure. He finds a way to go into space, and you know, it takes his time to go through it. So eventually we come up against, we get back with Thor, or we get introduced to Thor. And Thor is tying up a loose end with the Guardians of the Galaxy while being chased by Aisha. Or, you know, maybe he and the Guardians of the Galaxy have found themselves in the crosshairs of what's not Omnipotent City, but Olympus. What they should have done is had, instead of it being Omnipotent City, it should have been Olympus. You know why? Because then you tie them back to the Eternals. Because Olympus is a place that's taken up by Eternals and was greatly mistaken as the Grecian gods. So they're there with Zeus or Zeus or whatever his name is. Zeus, whatever, Zeus and Hercules and Nothina. You know, it's a whole other sect of Eternals that are there. And the Thor and the Guardians of the Galaxy are all captured there, and they're in their like arena thing, and they're like, you guys have done blah 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 blah, how dare you, you thought you could get away from us, well, we'll show you, we're strong, we're blah blah blah, give us your champion. And Thor has to fight Hercules, or you know, they're supposed to fight, and Hercules is like, haha, finally I heard about you, and I'm gonna take you out, sucker. But then, right before that whole thing goes down, Gore the God Butcher shows up. And he's there, and he goes on a rampage. Because he heard on another planet that they worship Apollo, Dionysus, I don't know, Hecate. Like, basically the Grecian gods. They've heard they're worshipped on another planet, and he follows the trail and finds Mount Olympus, or you know, whatever Olympus is. And he starts going on a rampage and just killing people left and right and left. And that's what breaks. We find one, we get to see Gore the God Butcher actually killing gods, or killing people that he's like, you guys aren't gods, you're imposters, you're not, you don't help people, you don't do shit, and I'm gonna show y'all what. So he pulls this big old sneak attack on Olympus, and with his great stupid super shadow sword, just cuts swath through all these people. Eventually, Thor and the Guardians of the Galaxy get set free, and they join in to help fight Gore off. They eventually beat Gore back because they overwhelm him with numbers or whatever, but he just makes a hasty retreat, but not without some heavy casualties. And then Thor, but also without Thor, or with Gore taking note that Thor is there. Thor of the Aesir, of the Asgardians, whom most of the space that he's heard through titterings and twinklings, most of space thinks that the Asgardians are all gone, that the Asgardians are all dead. So he goes to do more research, goes to find, oh, there's more Asgardians on Earth. Well, where was Thor last? On Earth. I'm going to go there, and I'm going to find the gods. That seems a bit weak. But for him to go around, like, threatening the Eternals, threatening the Asgardians, but somehow you get Jane and Valkyrie involved. Somehow you get them involved, and you get Gore going after them. And Jane's trying to figure out what it's like. You know, Valkyrie is helping Jane figure out what it's like to be a god, what it's like to be Asgardian now that she has the powers of Thor. She has, I don't have all the hammered details, but it's already better. It's already better. You don't need to kidnap the kids. The kids kidnapping, that's for a different type of villain. It's not for the God Butcher. So upset. You can tell I'm upset because I've been ranting about this for the longest. Basically, Thor fights him, can't win. Jane fights him, can't win. Valkyrie fights him, can't win. Eventually, they combine their efforts, combine their skills, combine their powers, finally defeat him. And defeat the Necro Sword. Game over. No race to eternity. No wishing well secret zone. No omnipotent city. No need for Korg. No screaming goats. Ugh, goats. So they totally ruined Tooth Gnasher and Tooth Grinder, and I'm mad about it. They were such badass steeds in the comics, and they just ruined them. But I think I've chatted and chomped and woo-woo-wooed enough. For now. For now. Because there will be more MCU, because I am going to talk about Ms. Marvel and Moon Knight. Oh, maybe not Moon Knight. I didn't really finish Moon Knight. I got all the way to episode 6, and I was just like, okay, I'm going to talk about it. But I've missed chatting with you all, and hopefully I will be far more consistent with this. Just like, when I was with the Geeking Out crew. Well, I'm still with them, but we're on a hiatus right now. Summer vacation. But I have to talk about this. I have to talk about this ad nauseum. And I will probably be posting more frequently. So until then, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, link, all the fun things. Oh, if you saw Thor: Love and Thunder, what was your was your take out of it? What did you like about it? Did you like love? Okay, just also, yeah, love. They introduced Love, which is Gore's daughter, but like she came back and she has powers. Gore never had powers, but she has powers. Like she can shoot like purple eye lasers, but she like has this sort of space shadow that went into her that sort of looks like Singularity from A-Force, which is probably her. But I mean, it's such a deep cut, but also not a deep cut. It's like DC using Naomi as a character. Like she's been in like 2 issues. Calm down. We don't. She hasn't done anything. So we'll see. Anyway, chat with you all later. I'm gonna get out of here. Ciao.